Head off on a space adventure every week with the Homebrew, a D&D play podcast. Sure, there's lots of actual play podcasts out there. Heck, you can throw a rock and hit a dozen of them. But are any of these D&D podcasts sci-fi campaigns? You can't shake a stick at them because there ain't many, if any. That's what sets these veteran gamers and their podcasts apart from the sea of actual play podcasts.
Give the Homebrew, a D&D play podcast, a listen. You can find them on the web at thehomebrewpodcast.com or anywhere podcasts are found.
The links are in the description below.
Greetings and salutations, DMs, GMs, referees, judges, game operations directors, and all other varieties of storytellers. This is your DM, Scott, and we're stepping into the Grognards Observatory. This week, we're talking about 5 AD&D magic items for your 5e game. AD&D for you kids out there is what we used to call Dungeons & Dragons back in the old days. It means Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. These items are taken straight out of AD&D, specifically Dragon Magazine issue number 99. This comes at you right from the early days of Dungeons & Dragons itself. The game at this point in time is barely a teenager. 5th edition is a great addition to D&D and is one of my favorite editions of all times. However, one should never forget that we have about a half a century of material that's out there that we can add to our games to enrich it. Let's get to enriching, shall we? First one is the cat staff. Here we have a 7-foot-long black staff of sturdy wood. Atop the staff is a sculpted head of a cat. When carried or strapped to an individual, it imparts some very special abilities, such as climb walls, move silently like a 9th-level thief. Again, for you youngsters, thief is what we used to call a rogue back in the old days. Thieves got sneakier as they gained levels. Your ability to hide in shadows was increased, and you could see with ultra vision up to a 60-foot range. But that's not all. You could cast shadow 6 times per day. You can also hit people with it, and because it's a very stealthy staff, it won't make any noise. Even cooler, the staff has a bunch of hidden compartments all over it, so you can store important stuff in there. A $5 bill in case you need to buy lunch, your car keys, some chapstick maybe. Next up is the Amulet of Psionic Reflection. This is DM Bill's favorite. We all know how much he loves psionics. You're all probably aware of the Githyanki Mind Flayer Wars if you've been paying attention in history class. Well, as they say, necessity is the mother of invention, and who doesn't hate someone boring into their mind, rendering them paralyzed, and then either sucking out their brains or putting some slimy little tadpole inside their ear, like what Khan did to Chekhov in The Wrath of Khan? Don't worry. The Githyanki got you covered. This amulet is an ornate piece of jewelry that is pinned to the center of a headband. You could wear it while you work out, or you could go kill mind flayers while wearing it. While wearing this, you're protected from all psionic blast attacks. Since turnabout is fair play, if you're attacked while wearing this stylish headband and amulet, your amulet's got your 6. It'll blast that no-good cowardly squid face back with its very own psionic blast. One of the drawbacks is, if you have any psionic ability, you can't use it. Especially the psionic blast, because what will happen is your amulet will blast you back. Well, that's gotta hurt. Who doesn't love Wonder Woman? Heck, I could sit all day and watch Gal Gadot just read the phone book. Having the opportunity to play a Wonder Woman type of character in the game is nothing short of cool. I mean, she's a big old badass. So why not have a magical weapon that's right out of Wonder Woman's arsenal? I'm not talking about a magic lasso that can help you call bullshit on your friend's cheating dice rolls, or a magic tiara that you can hunt kangaroos with. I'm talking bracers of deflection. These function much in the same way that bracers of defense do, giving you an armor class of 2, which is an absolute shit armor class for 5th edition, but back in the AD&D days, this was pretty good. It's like the equivalent of an 18 or 19 today. But that's not all. You can choose to parry an attack with these, and doing so gives the attacker a -4 penalty to their attack. Let's talk about Dust of Forgetfulness. I'm not talking about the stuff that was all over the nightclubs back in the 70s. That shit's illegal. This little gem is great for a rogue that got himself caught doing something they shouldn't have been doing. When thrown at a target, thus causes the victim to forget everything that happened in the past hour. Everything, and I mean everything, will be forgotten. After about a week, those lost memories will be restored. It's kind of like it produces the same effects that a really long bender does. Now back to psionics. So there, DM Bill. The Gem of Shielding is a magical gemstone that has the power to bestow complete immunity against psionic attacks to the person wearing it. Take that, Mind Flayers. How do you wear it? You smush it into your forehead, that's how. This will smush right into your forehead and will disappear, being completely invisible, which is a shame because having a giant magical gem in your forehead is way cooler than not. At that point in time, it performs all its functions automatically. You won't even have to turn it on or change the batteries or any of that stuff like you have to do with your Xbox controllers. You can take the gem out of your head by mentally commanding it to come back out. There's a whole bunch of different colored gems that do a whole bunch of different things as far as protecting you from psionics goes. You can smush as many of these into your forehead as you want, but then you run a risk of this thing called the resonance field, and that's really complicated to get into in a 5-minute piece, so we won't even bother to do that. Go ahead and give these a shot. Toss them into your D&D game to liven things up a little bit. If you have Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, then you know they're probably prepping to bring psionics into the game in an even bigger role, and sorry, DM Bill, but it's about time. And that's this week's journey into the Grognards Observatory, featuring 5 AD&D magic items for your 5e game. This is your DM Scott. See you next time in the dojo.